because we like to do it per kilogram of lean body mass, but it's hard to, even with some of the bioelectrical impedance devices, it's hard to get an accurate measure of actual lean body mass. So we're trying to feed lean body mass. So what we take is the stature of a quote normal weight person of that height, male or female, and that's the reference weight. So it's, if you're my age, you'll remember we used to have ideal body weight tables, and we pin them up in our office and on the wall just next to the scale, and a person can look at that and say, oh, I'm supposed to weigh 147 pounds. Oops. There is no such thing as ideal body weight, because you can be metabolically healthy at a very different weight, above or below that number. But we use that as kind of a reference to estimate lean body mass, and we're feeding that protein to feed the lean body mass. And these numbers are centered around 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of lean body mass. Okay? And in the US, our recommended dietary allowance is 0.8. So this is about double the RDA. But it's actually in the range where most people in developed countries who are not pure vegan vegetarians, this is around where most people's protein intake is. So this is not high protein, even though it's above the minimum RDA value. We go up to 2 grams per kilo, and particularly for athletes doing high intensity training, we'll go up to 2 grams per kilo rather than 1.5. We haven't seen any benefit above there in terms of studies where Jeff has actually had people do resistance exercise and measure that, not just their ability to retain, but their ability to gain lean tissue while losing weight. So again, it's the 2.0 is at the top end, 1.2 at the bottom end, and people need to find their place in the middle. And again, if your ketones aren't desirable and you think you may want to titrate down a little bit. If you're maintaining good ketones and you want to build lean body mass, you can titrate up a bit. Humans have been carnivores for hundreds of thousands of years. When we looked at modern carnivores, where we actually had people who wrote things down, it appears that groups like the Maasai, the Native Americans nomadic peoples who tracked the buffalo in the Great Plains, didn't practice agriculture. The Inuit in the Arctic tended to eat in the range of this value of 1.5 or 2 grams per kilo. There were times in the food cycle when the game was lean and they would eat higher. Still guessing. We're trying to reverse engineer from a few points of data. We got 3 square inches of the Mona Lisa, and we're trying to figure out what she looks like. So there's room for maneuvering there. One of the things that I worry about, and we'll come to this, is potassium intake. And if somebody does pure carnivore and keeps their protein relatively low, if they're not eating vegetables, where does the potassium come from? And so a person may need to eat more of the lean protein to get the intracellular potassium to meet that need. We have femur and lumbar spine values. At 2 years, we see no sign of change in mineral density in lumbar spine in a group of people who's lost and maintained more than 10% of their body weight on a ketogenic diet. And we're really happy to see that because of this idea that ketones make your kidneys waste calcium. And so it's one of those situations where no change is good news.